Hi y'all, Justin with Kayak Catfish. Well, it is sunrise on the Ohio River. That's right folks, it's finally happening. I've taken a road trip up north to fish the Ohio, and man, I'm excited to be here. People have asked me for years, Justin, have you fished the Ohio River? When you going to fish the Ohio River? How do you catch fish on the Ohio River? And well, it's finally happening, and as far as how to catch them, I hope we're gonna figure it out today. And well, if you see in this video, we figured out something, because y'all know I ain't posting those skunk videos. So anyway, I launched my kayak here in a town called Rising Sun, Indiana. Basically, this side of the river is Indiana. That side over there is Ohio. And so we're going to just explore out here today. Again, I don't know a damn thing about this river other than that there's catfish in here, allegedly. So my plan is I'm going to go over here to this side. I'm going to figure out where the ledge starts to come up at a steep angle, and we're going to take off drifting. We're going to use the current, drift downstream a stretch, just suspending baits along that ledge. Then after we've made it a good ways down through there, I'm going to turn, come across the other side of the channel, find the part of the ledge where it starts to come up, that deepest break line there, and we're going to drag some baits, just troll back up toward the boat launch here. And so we're going to cover a lot of water today, hopefully run into some catfish along the way. If we see anything on the graph that's unique, you know, rock piles, debris, whatever, if it looks like it's holding some fish, well, we can anchor on that as well and see what we get there. So I'm open for anything today. Whatever these fish want, I'm willing to give it to them. So come with me, y'all. First trip to the Ohio River. Let's go have some fun. All right, we're gonna cut up our baits here. I'm gonna start out with a skipjack head and a skipjack chunk. We're gonna suspend two rods for now. I'm gonna do a big bait and a small bait, just a chunk and a head there. If we really start tearing them up, I may switch over a couple of my other rods over there so we can get some more lines down in the water. But again, I'm planning on suspending baits going downriver and dragging on the way back up. And as far as what the map looks like here, you know, I always show you my map and stuff on these videos. You kind of have to disregard avionics on the Ohio River. I was told it's not very accurate, and as you can see here, it's showing that I'm basically 15 to 19 feet deep here. However, in reality, I'm 42 feet deep. So for whatever reason, avionics just ain't worth a flip on the Ohio River. So we're just going to have to disregard it today. What I'm going to do is use my electronics to just try to keep myself on the edge of the ledge right before it starts to come up. And so we're just going to try to keep an eye on things and as we make our way downriver. Now right now, as far as current flow goes, it looks like I'm sitting still, so we may have to troll our way downriver here. I thought there would be a little bit of flow. I was told between like a half a mile an hour and 1 mile an hour current through here, but right now we stationary, so we may troll our way downstream. I may have to put some dragging baits out behind me as we troll along too. That may be something that works out in our favor here to get some more lines in right away. But anyway, enough flapping my gums. Let's get our head and our chunk on there, drop them down, see what we catch. I want to work on this back rod right here. Let's crank down. I think he's on there, folks. We got us our first fish on the Ohio River road trip. I don't think he's gonna be no monster, but by gosh, I'm happy to get a bite, because I've been out here probably an hour and a half-ish now, somewhere thereabouts. I've covered a good spell of water here and had nothing going on. No taps, no nothing before this fella come along. So he ain't very big, but by gosh, he's a welcome sight. When you ain't catching no fish, beggars can't be choosers. Come on in here, fish. Yo, Ohio River thing. Let's get rid of that. I caught that in dragging there, folks. There he is. We'll turn him in the light there. He ain't nowhere near front camera worthy. He's many years away from that. Get on back down there, fish. I caught that in 37 feet of water here, y'all. I'm just making my way along. Let me turn this way. Lord, it's dark on that side. But anyway, been out here just covering water. I launched the kayak there at the Rising Sun boat ramp, went across the channel to the other side. I was working it down through. There's no current out here this morning, so I've been trolling. So I've had 2 baits suspended on the front of the kayak, 2 dragging off the back. And I worked that side down for a while, and I'm getting down here now to where the river bends to the left. And so I switched over to this side of the channel so that I can work this outside bend as the boat's going by me over here. It's like, what is that sound coming up on me? So now I got that fish. So at least there's some sign of life over here. Wasn't sure it's going to happen or not, but we got our first fish. Fish number 1 from the Ohio River for me. That fish, he has no idea what a monumental moment, occasion. What's the word I'm looking here for? You know what I'm trying to say, I think. Anyway, I don't even know what the hell I'm trying to say. I'm gonna get another bait down there, and we'll see if we can get the words right on the next one. Well, let's cut us another piece of skipjack. That one had ate a chunk that was whole, gut pocket intact, and I was dragging. Now, I'm not dragging these baits very far behind me, just 30 to 50 yards probably. There's no real wind out here today. I'm just kind of moving along in calm water, so no reason to have them a long ways there behind me. The water's not choppy or anything, so I'm gonna throw that back out. That's a 10-aught size mustad circle hook. Got a float and rattle right above that, up to my 3-way swivel where I've got my dragging sinkers, and I've plugged these in a lot of videos. You want to learn how to make them, there's a link down the video description. Very cheap, easy, simple to make, cheaper than any other dragging sinkers on the market, and very effective. So I'm going to let out some line on that, let it move along here. I've got my speed about half a mile an hour or so, 36 feet here, and we're just going to work our way on down and around this bend here to the left and see if we don't run into some fish on the way. I got something here on this front rod now. That's another one on the chunk, this one on the suspended bait though. It's a welcome sight though. I'll tell you what, you go well over an hour without even a tap. I'm happy to get 2 bites right down through. Oh, that one ate the fly, y'all. That's a tiny blue cat right there, but he ate the fly. Thankfully, he has left our bait on. Let's get him landed like that before he throws that bait off. Old stinger fly. I've got my suspended rigs here. These are just we'll get rid of that thing. I don't even want to show him off on camera there. He don't deserve it. My suspending rigs here though, these are just Carolina rigs. My regular viewers have seen these a bunch of times before, and boy, that fish, look what he's done. He's got me all tangled up everywhere, slime on that line. Let's fix our bait back. But they're just Carolina rigs, 10-aught size circle hooks with a Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly a few inches below the piece of cut bait. And I got an 8-ounce sinker right here. And what I'm doing, I'm just drop that down, let that sinker hit bottom, and then raise up my rig so that my bait and fly there's a couple feet, 2 to 3 feet off bottom as we make our way along. And I'm kind of keeping my eye on the graph and just adjusting baits as needed. Obviously the dragging baits, it don't matter with them because they're pulling along bottom anyway, but with these suspended baits, I don't want that fly and that exposed hook there dragging along bottom. I want them raised up as we go into fish. Basically, them fish that are kind of on bottom, swimming along, I want them baits right there in their face. And I got my live scope transducer here facing forward, so if I'm coming down through here and I'm coming up on anything, haven't really seen a lot down through here, but if I come up on any down trees or anything like that, I can quickly raise them baits up to adjust for it before I go into them and get myself all snagged up. Well, good news. Look at this, y'all. There's a barge going by. Now back home, a barge going by don't do nothing, but I have heard, and there's a lot of people that believe this, that on the Ohio River, when a barge goes by, it stirs up the bottom and creates a barge bite, they call it. It's a catfish bite after they go by. We're gonna find out. We're gonna put that to the test here in about a minute or so when this thing gets by me. But I'll tell you, back home, I've had a million barges go by me and it never works out to catch fish. So we're gonna see if it happens up here. I'll be doggone, look at this. Oh, that's a nice takedown right there, y'all. That's a nice takedown. Right there as that barge goes by. Maybe there is such thing as the barge bite. That bar, look, I'm gonna take a camera and look. It's literally going by right there. Right there beside us on the right. And this fish goes down with it. This is definitely the best quality thus far. Although the bar has been set low. This is another one dragging. I had thought I'd be drifting downriver, but they just ain't any. If they slow, it ain't noticeable. So I'm just trolling along about a half a mile an hour. Drag 2 baits behind me, suspend 2, and well, that's a decent fish right there, folks. That's what I call fun size. That's a decent quality fish. On the barge bite. The Ohio River barge bite. Who would have thunk it that is actually a thing? I may have just become a believer here, y'all. I tell you, I've had a million barges go by me on the Tennessee River. It don't do anything. You just sit there just watching the barges go. They don't. Boy, that fish is mad too, ain't he? He ain't done. But them barges, I don't know what the difference is on up here versus back home, but we just got us one right here. Come up here, fish. I may give you a little front camera time, fish. This is your lucky day. Woo, fish. Hold yourself up there and show yourself off to the world. That's a smaller fun size, what I call them back home anyway. Happy to get him too. Definitely the best one of the trip thus far. And it seems like since I come back over to this side of the channel, and we're right here kind of at the top of this river bend, there's at least been some life. You know, that's 3 fish now. I mean, granted, none of them's been monsters, but we're at least getting bites on the other side of the channel over there. When I first started, I mean, I fished it well over an hour and a half and didn't even get a peck at my baits. I mean, nothing. So this is definitely an improvement. I'm gonna send him packing right there. He can follow that barge all the way upriver, getting him a meal the whole way, I reckon. We'll put another bait on there and keep dragging along. I'm just gonna work this whole daggone bend, I guess, unless I just see something in the meantime that's holding some fish that we can anchor on. Oh man, let me get this rod out of the way, y'all. Oh man, get that out of the way. We got one on this rod up here. I was refreshing that bait there on the other back rod, and this one just took off. Bad timing for that rod to get hit, by gosh, but I'll take it. This is another one that feels like a pretty good quality fish. This was my biggest bait. It was my biggest skipjack head. Nice. Didn't even need a barge to go by to get this bite. 41 feet deep here where I'm at. Yeah, old blue kitty, that's another one right there. It's fun size, I call it. Well, I'm gonna set him back a second. I was right in the middle of getting this bait back out, trying to spruce everything up here. So let's start letting out some line on this other dragon one. Now we'll land this fella. Okay, come on in, kitty. I'm ready for you this time. I'm prepared. The old thing off of me. I think that's the biggest one now of the trip. So we've got a decent fish dragging. We got a decent fish on a suspended bait now. So doesn't seem to really matter as long as we get a bait in front of them. We're gonna get a bite. But this side of the river has definitely paid better dividends than the other side thus far. And I'm still here at the top of this bend too, so who knows what we're gonna get into down through here. I know I'm excited to find out though. It's always fun. Get out of here, you old fish. He gone. I was trying to say it's always fun when you exploring some new water and just get a change of scenery. You get that, you know, anticipation back in you that you really don't know what to expect. I mean, the Ohio River, it's got a reputation for being just kind of hammered by the commercial fishermen, you know. But every year there are some big fish that get caught, at various places throughout the Ohio River. So, you know, you just never know. Anytime you got baits in the water, there's always a chance. So we're gonna keep making our way along down through here and taking that chance. We got another one. Another one on the dragging. Another one on the chunk. Nice. Just keep making my way down, keep getting bit. This outside bend is paying off. That's one of them type places when I go somewhere new, I look for airplanes to fly over when I'm filming too. That's always important when you're doing a YouTube video. You definitely want to make sure there's airplanes around. That thing timed it perfect with this fish biting. We got barge bites and airplane bites today. Come on in here, fish. I was trying to say to these people, when I go new places, one of the things that I'm looking for is fish, obviously, but where I'm gonna find them fish are places on the river that are, he's hit my graph too. Look at that dang fish, he's causing all kinds of problems. That didn't come out of 42 feet of water, but you know, I'm looking for places on the map that are, at least this time of year anyway, I want deep ledges, river bends, especially if places we got creeks coming into those bends. I'm looking for places like that. Those are kind of just, you know, even you take like out here where Navionics isn't particularly accurate at all from what I'm seeing on my graph and what I've been told, you can still look at just kind of general features of the river and expect some fish to be on those type places. And then as you're moving along, if you come across any deeper holes along these ledges, or you come up on, you know, any humps that have got rocks or mussel beds or stuff like that, then you can expect to find some fish there too. But just when you're scouting out a new body of water to just kind of look for places to start fishing, this time of year, you know, your deep river channels there, your ledges and river bends, tough to beat, man. That fish threw the bait off, so I'm gonna cut another. I'm just rocking a 2 heads and 2 chunks kind of setup. I've got the gut pockets intact on these, just make for a little bigger profile bait down there since water temps are, you know, still good and warm and everything. So put that on and send it back out. I don't mind giving that fish a free meal. He's waited his whole life for me to come up here and fish the Ohio River, so the least I can do is treat him to a free meal. I got plenty of bait with me anyway, so we're not going to run out. We'll let out some line on that. Again, I'm doing maybe 30-50 yards behind me because there's a light breeze blowing upriver right now, but you can see, I mean, it's pretty calm out here. I'm not bouncing around at all, so no reason to run these baits super far behind me. Front rod was getting hit. I think he may have that fly potentially. Again, that's that big head bait. He didn't act like he really wanted it, but he got something, didn't he? We're gonna reel him in and find out. I wonder if it ain't on that fly that was dangling under the head bait. As the wind kind of picks up, it's kind of blowing up river here. It's kind of, the last few minutes really started to pick up. I'm just maintaining my speed about a half a mile an hour going into it. As this fish is going crazy here. He does have that fly. I thought I said that fish ain't big enough. Oh, he flung my head bait off too. You old ornery devil, you. What the heck's wrong with you acting that way? This fish right here, he said he's gonna act out so that I'll never come back up here again. I thought though that fish, I said, it wasn't acting like a big fish, at least not one big enough to eat that head bait. But when he was clearly hooked up, I said, I bet you he's got that fly, and what do you know? Got the old Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly. I ain't giving you no front camera time, fish. You ain't big enough for it, and you done flung my head bait off. Last second right there. He threw that bait off because he knew I was going to let him go, and he'd go down there and eat it on his way back home. That's like going through, that's a catfish's version of going through a fast food drive-through right there. That's all right though. We got plenty of plenty more skipjack here, so I'll load it up before I come on this trip because I wanted to make the most of it. I wanted to make sure no matter what happened, I had plenty of bait. We're gonna get this hooked back up. This rig here, it's the same one as my other suspended rig, just Carolina rig with the 10-aught hook and that fly dangling there just a few inches below. So them fish come up, they got a big piece of cut bait and they've got what looks like a small bait fish right there under it. So kind of gives you a little something extra, and it pays off from time to time. I get a lot of extra fish on them flies. We just got us one right there. Now that's a nice takedown. Look at that, man. Look at that. That's just a slow takedown right there, buddy. He's on there, man. What a nice takedown. We got another barge coming up here. Can't give this one credit as being a barge bite because that barge ain't past me yet. I mean, he just hit it and just slowly went down with it. But you know what? I don't think he's going to end up being that big when it's said and done. It was a nice takedown, but he fooled me, man. I mean, that fish just hit it and just, man, I thought I had me a gollywhopper on right then. Nice try, fish. Nice try fooling me. No, quit now. Come on up in here. Lord, he's choked the fly and the bait. Yeah, we taking that head bait back, buddy. Sorry about your luck. Look at that leech right there trying to get a cameo appearance on this video. Them danged old leeches, man, they as bad as a catfish for trying to get an extra Instagram follower out of you. But yeah, y'all, there's another barge coming up here in just a few minutes. When it passes by, we're gonna put that barge bite to the test again. We'll see if we don't scrounge up another one as it goes. But I'm gonna drop this head bait back down. It's still looking pretty good shape. That's one thing about coming down through here is I'm not getting tore up with small fish bites. Like the dinks, they're leaving me alone. So the fish that we've caught, that's been the bites that I've gotten. Well, there's just not been a lot of taps and pecks and, you know, nuisance fish just chewing up your bait. So when we do come across a fish, our baits are in good condition. So we got that one back down, man. We ready for that barge. We're gonna test that barge bite theory up here on the Ohio River because they do get a lot of barge traffic from what I'm told. Well, that barge is a long way upriver now. Didn't get any action after it passed, so I think we're 1 for 2 on the barge bite. Well, y'all, we've reached midday here, the hottest point. That sun is beating down, and the bite has really slacked off the last hour or two. I say that, and I think we're getting a bite right there. That fish trying to make a liar out of me. I don't think he's got it though. No, he ain't got it. He hit it a few times, just try to make me look foolish, didn't he? But anyway, I was trying to say before that fish was so rude and interrupted that I think I'm gonna get off the water for a little while it's so dang hot right now. I'll go grab me a bite to eat, rehydrate a little bit, and then later on this afternoon I'm gonna come back out and on down a little bit farther on this bend. From what I can see on the map, I think there's another boat ramp up in a creek up in there, and I think I'm going to launch there if I can, if it's publicly accessible, and come out a little bit farther down on this bend and pick up my next session there. But this first trip out here, this first morning here on the Ohio River, I'm pleased with how it's went. I mean, anytime you go somewhere new and don't lay a goose egg, don't get skunked, it's a pretty good day in my opinion. And to get some decent quality fish along with the overall numbers, I'm pretty happy with how it's went. So first trip to the Ohio River, I'm calling it a success here, y'all. But I'm gonna like I say, get off the water. I'll hit this other area on down here this afternoon. I'm gonna spend the night here and then fish again in the morning, and then I'm gonna go home after that. I've got a tournament upcoming in a few days, but I'm gonna go back home and reload on bait and all that before the tournament. I just wanted to come up here and kind of get a feel for things, kind of learn my way around town and everything before the tournament, and I'm glad I did. It's been a nice day out here. So anyway, I'm gonna quit flapping my gums and get off here. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.